Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this June 4th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon, and we're also on the EOA network. And here in a bit, we're going to have our guest, Nicole Felty and Sarah Marcotte from Grande Main Street Downtown will be with us as our guest, talking to us about the Beer Fest that's coming up just in a couple of weeks.
Beer Fest.
Yeah.
I don't drink beer, but I go to it.
Yeah, no, that's a fun event. That's a fun event. Yeah,
I'm surprised Wasteland Kings ain't performing there this year. I saw they were they put out the video for it, and they're in the video.
Yeah,
but they're not performing. Those are my guys.
Yeah, well, we'll grill them about that.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We definitely will. TJ, good morning. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah,
it's second Monday.
Does it feel like it?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Man, our Monday just this last weekend was just crazy. I was out of town Thursday and Friday, and then we had and then
Idaho.
And then we had LeGrand the graduation on Saturday morning, which we were not ready for. No. I mean, normally, so it was just. It went okay and everything, but still, it's been
And then
crazy.
you guys shot something EOU yesterday, right?
No.
Or somewhere.
Oh well, yeah. And then yesterday, we had a big shoot. So all three of us. So it's been just a crazy day. The office reflects that. There's equipment everywhere.
It was nice and quiet though for me.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah, I'll bet. Because nobody was here yesterday.
No, it was quiet. It's quiet a lot of days, especially when you were running for, county commissioner. There's days where it's trying to
is anybody else here?
Maybe take my computer and go sit next door so I'm not by myself and lonely.
Yeah.
It's not bad though.
Yeah. No. It's going to get warm this weekend.
Thankfully.
Yeah, which is good for a stock show coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot the rodeo too.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I'm going to Western Oregon this weekend because my son graduates.
Oh, okay.
Pretty excited about that too.
Now, when are you going?
It's on the schedule.
Well, I know,
Friday.
but I haven't looked at it.
Friday.
But I mean,
I'm only staying for one day. Though.
Oh, okay. So then you're shooting stock show.
Yeah. Coming back.
Yeah.
Taking my mom and my sister.
I've always wanted to. Yeah, I mean, I've told you that. It's I've always had this dream of I wanted to do outdoor photography or sports photography or whatever the case. And now that I have all the gear, you get to use it.
Pro rodeo is on my list, so check it out. That's two things this year on my list: the D1 football game and a pro rodeo.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the rodeo. I'm more excited about the rodeo than I was about the D1 football.
I was thinking about, show me that. You have to show me that picture with Peasley standing beside you. Didn't you say there's a picture of Peasley standing beside Rogers?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And then he posted on social media, I think on Saturday, new chapter or whatever, and it's a picture of him in the red jersey because quarterbacks were red and then the Jets helmet. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about it's kind of funny because remember when you and Johnny had John Sullivan?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and he interviewed.
He
was the retired pro center. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And he changed teams just right at the very end of his career, and he's
lost in the Super Bowl. Did not win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And then he's like, I'm hiking to Aaron Rodgers. It was and so it's just kind of
because he went to the Packers, right?
Packers, right? Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's kind of funny how it all goes around, right?
Well, at least we'll get to see Peasley in the preseason. So
and
no guarantees he's going to make the team. There's 4 quarterbacks on that team right now, but we'll see.
But still, he's already.
Yeah.
He's already attained more than any other local kid. It's just
True that.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress right here in LeGrand. They want to make you comfortable in your own home, so go check them out. They have a really cool showroom. The Daggett family does a lot for this community, so complete that circle. I always talk about it. You know what I mean? They help pay for the sports show. You guys go buy stuff from them so they can help pay for the sports show. LHS girls softball ended their season, as we know. They lost to Pendleton in the state playoffs. Pendleton is the only team that beat LeGrand all year. My problem is Pendleton wins a state championship. LeGrand's out in the quarter. Yeah, you can say, oh, well, you should have beat Pendleton, though. OSAA's got to figure this out. I'm so tired of teams being ranked weird and teams that should have gone further because in the bracket not going because they're matched up against somebody they shouldn't be matched up against early. I think LeGrand ended the season like 20-3 or 19-3. All 3 of the losses were Pendleton, or maybe even 4. They might have lost to Pendleton 4 times, and that's ridiculous to me. Like they got to figure that out. I want to see the 2 best teams play in the state championship, and apparently, I mean, LeGrand did beat Pendleton once this year, and arguably, I don't want to see LeGrand pay Pendleton 5 times a year. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the Lady Tigers for all GOL. First team, Austin Mauser, Marty Anderson, Belle Neer, and Maddie Sievert. And then in the outfield, Janessa Porras. Utility, Carly Strand. And then second team outfield, Peyton Daggett and Jocelyn Dodds. Not related to me. I had the name first, so... it's not, here's a cool story I'll tell you guys real quick. I was getting my media pass for the PRCA, and I hit it off with the guy from the PRCA because his last name was Dodd with no S, so we kind of had a connection. But anyways, I haven't heard anything about the boys GOL all leagues, but as soon as I find out, I'll let you know. Mountie Awards are tonight at 6 o'clock. Go to eousports.com or go to the Mountie Network on YouTube to watch them live. They're kind of cool. It's kind of fun. It's entertaining. They have a couple of athletes host it, and then they just give out awards. It's more of a popularity contest, I think. It's not necessarily the best is going to win baseball player of the year. You know what I mean? It's the person who gets the most votes. So we'll see. Oregon East-West Shrine Game 2024 is less than 2 months away. July 27th, 7 p.m., with festivities kicking off at 6. They do all the I can't remember what BC calls it, but he has a name for it. It's almost like a parade beforehand. But if you want to advertise during the game, regionally broadcasted right here on the EO Alive Network, give us a message, a phone call, or an email. You can message us right here on Facebook. You can call 7. Come on, BC, help me with a phone number. Give me a phone number for the office, or your number. Yeah, 786-0200.
Yeah, 786-0200.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the email, Kyle at EO Live TV or office at EO Live TV. Last year was a heck of a game. The East ended up winning 14-6 in the first overtime in the game's history. Here's a little peek at it.
Yeah, you feel that tingling in your spine, the butterflies in your stomach. Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go. Stork rolls out to his left, has daylight, is going to dive in for the touchdown. Good reaction from Stork. Stork and this offense. He rolls to his right, just misses being tackled. Looks down the field, makes the pass. It's going to be picked off. And that is going to be number 4 for the Weston, Gunnar Rothenberger, and he's going to make his way down to about the 35. He gets the direct snap again, pushes his way forward, and he is going to have the touchdown.
Oh, he's hit it.
That is number 89 for the East.
He's going to take that to the house.
and he's going to go in for the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Wow. Wow.
That was an awesome game last year. As you can see from the highlights, there wasn't a lot of offense. I mean, 14-6 was the final, but it was a fun game. Last thing before the sports report is over, here's the QR code for the GoFundMe for the McKinley family. Cade's a 3-sport freshman battling a type of Ewing sarcoma, and the family's going to need some help over the next 18 months. So if you have the means, scan the QR code. It'll take you directly to their GoFundMe. You can donate right there. If you don't want to use GoFundMe, you can go to Bank of America, and they have an account set up under the name Cade's Courage, Cade McKinley, or the McKinley family, and you can donate there. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Big red rocking chair on Elm off Adams in LeGrand.
All right. Good stuff. You know, when George was here the other day, he talked about us connecting us with the OSAA dude. We should take him up on that.
Which OSAA guy?
The guy in charge.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, obviously we know Steve, but Steve.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he's
no.
not the-
This is I mean, because George was on that board, and he said he would connect us with. Because we've got several conversations that would.
I
like
think.
to have.
I mean, I would love to have those conversations, but I think those conversations happen all the time. Like,
Well, they
I don't
probably-
know what they do about it. But
Yeah, but they probably do. I mean, they need to remember us out here. And
it's
Eastern Oregon.
Eastern Oregon. It like schools over here. It sucks for us.
Yeah.
It really does. Like that football game a few years ago, where it's supposed to be being played on a neutral site. We have to go to Gresham to play Tillamook. Tillamook comes an hour. We go 4.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how is that a neutral site? And
Right.
Tillamook filled up their whole side of the stands and half of ours.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's just one of those things where like, but then again, in 2019, when we won the state championship, the game was played in Hermiston, and that's our advantage. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
But you know how those organizations, unless they hear from people, there's like, everything's fine.
I wonder how many emails they get a day from parents and people. Oh, it's probably crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's ask.
Yeah. I'm down. I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm I'm totally in favor of asking politely, but I will ask.
I doubt they would come on here.
Yeah. Well, probably not. But yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look outside, and it's nicer this morning. And what's the weather? I think it's supposed to warm up. Let's take a look at that graphic here. So 72 today.
Oh, criminy.
Yeah.
88 on Friday.
So yeah, it's supposed to be like it's
Golfing
gonna.
weather.
Yep. And stock show is this weekend, so it'd be really nice. They always get rained on for the stock show, so that's nice.
It's not raining.
I know.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know. It's like somebody told me.
Some rain's gonna sneak in somehow.
Somebody told me the other day. It's like, how do you know when summer has begun? It's like, well, it always begins after the rain at stock show. So
the last rain of the year.
that's right.
We hope.
Yeah. So.
Doubt it, but
Well, great. Well, we have Nicole Felty and Sarah Marcotte. Nicole is the president of the Grande Main Street Downtown, and Sarah is the executive director. And we're going to be talking about Beer Fest. And we're going to roll a little commercial here about Beer Fest, and we will be right back with our guests. All right, that was not the Beer Fest commercial.
US2 reruns.
Yeah. So how are you ladies?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Maintaining the sanity before the big weekend.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting though. We're
Yeah.
getting excited for it.
And it is not this weekend, it's the weekend after.
Correct.
Okay.
Last year's was in August, so
Uh-huh.
people might remember that being in August, but we've decided that June would be a better, spot for the festival. We want to keep it in June.
Yeah.
And then knowing that EOU's graduation is that same day, we knew out-of-town travelers would be
Oh, cool.
in town. And after the festivities of commencement, there would be some free time on their schedule. So we thought, well, that
Why
might
not?
actually work out.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well, good.
Yeah.
And I was on the Main Street board for seemed like
Eons.
eternity. Yeah. and Beer Fest, I was never in the middle of that, just because it's not my forte. Well, one, I'm not a huge beer drinker, but still, it was just Marianne was handling people who are way more efficient at that than I were handling that, and that's always a good thing. So.
And Marianne has claimed that this is her last year, but she's doing a fantastic job. She is handling all beer procurement. She's like head of the committee along with Sarah. So she's doing a fantastic job.
Well, and that's kind of been, she actually likes, I don't know if she still does, but she used to like actually doing the beer procurement. Yeah, I mean, that's but there's just so much other stuff to that kind of crowds in. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of small details that go into it. Just even logistics of setting up at the fairgrounds, making sure you have, Sarah's been working with her vendors, making sure she knows electrical needs and we have enough, we're ADA compliant and people can get in and be comfortable and have the facilities they need on site. So
We do need volunteers for cleanup and setup. So if you are available on June 14th at, let's say, 9 a.m., head down to 102 Depot Street. That is our office. And you can help us set up at the fairgrounds. We're going to be moving equipment up from the basement and over to the fairgrounds. And if you are available on June 16th at 8 a.m., on the fairgrounds, we're going to start cleaning everything up. It's not as bad as it sounds. It's actually pretty fun. And that does guarantee you a spot at the thank you party where we get rid of all the extra beer.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is definitely something that you might want to get in on. So
Well, that's great. So, let's back up just a little bit. Sarah, you've been on the show a couple of different times, and you're the executive director of the Grande Main Street Downtown.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Glad you're here. And you've been here how long? 6 months?
Oh yeah, since I started the position January 8th. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. And this is, I mean, being the executive director is a lot. You and I have spent quite a bit of time talking about that and stuff. And I think I was not a part of hiring you, but I was the 3 or 4 previous to that directors, and so it's a lot to take on.
It is.
And I totally understand that. So.
But it's fun. It's fun work, and it's really rewarding because you get to see the things that you initiate actually come to fruition. Which a lot of positions you have to wait 6 or 7 months or even a year before you see like, oh yeah, that project that we were working on is finally taking root.
Yeah.
But with this, it's, we're working on Beer Fest and we're actually going to see Beer Fest play out in front of us.
Good.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And Beer Fest is the primary fundraiser for the Grande Main Street Downtown.
Yes.
People might not understand that the budget for Main Street is around $80,000 a year, something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
And part of that comes in from $25K comes in from the city. But the rest of those funds come in from fundraisers and from membership primarily. Yeah. And so it's and the Beer Fest is made in the area of 15K, maybe 20K. I mean we hope it's always a goal
Hope
to
for
it's always a goal to expand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an important, it's not just that it's a beer party. It's an important part of maintaining what Grande Main Street Downtown does.
But it is also a beer
Yeah,
party.
it also is a beer
Yes.
party.
So, but yeah, we are a nonprofit, so we use the fundraising events like this, and we try to bring up fundraising events that are going to be fun and interesting for people, that people are going to want to come to and want to contribute to, because we want to support local businesses, historic preservation, keeping our historic buildings in check, repairing roofs, things like that. We just want to make sure that LeGrand is stays beautiful, stays successful, and that's how we do it.
Yeah,
Sweep
great.
it up, fundraising and get membership donations and stuff like that.
Awesome. And so, Nicole, you come onto the board.
Yep.
Yeah, so you kind of have an interesting journey in actually getting to LeGrand.
Yes.
And so, tell us a little bit about that.
I'm originally from a really small town in Indiana, much smaller than LeGrand. My hometown is 2,500 people.
Okay.
So LeGrand is a booming metropolis to that. Grew up in a really small town, and then throughout my career, I landed in Indianapolis for a couple years, and then there was an opportunity to open an office in Los Angeles. So I was asked, along with 2 other people, to open our Los Angeles office. So I was in Los Angeles for 10 years, which that was quite a cultural shock, from 250 people, or
2,500.
2,500 to what LA is. And then, expanded my family, met another Midwesterner, my husband, and, COVID happened, and we're like, this big city is not so fun if you can't do anything, and you're crawling to get to everything. So I came up, my sister and her husband are both here. Now my mom and dad have moved here. So we've made the family compound here in LeGrand. But we came up, I came up in August or July one year, and I was like, this place is magical. This is just like this hidden gem. And then I dragged my husband up around Thanksgiving, and he said the same thing. He was like, I feel like I can get so much done. I have mental clarity. We can go outside and be a part of nature. So, eventually, we clawed our way out of LA, and we moved up here in September of 2022. And then, renovated a place and got into it, and we've set down some roots. It feels great.
Yeah.
And I've got my family here, which is amazing.
Awesome. And your occupations are interesting too, because they're both,
Yep.
So tell me what you do and what your husband is.
So I've always been in advertising. Started out as an account person, producer, and then went into doing operations at an advertising agency, which I thought was an interesting way of figuring out how to make money for the business and make sure you're running it efficiently. And then I moved into just recruitment, which I'm hiring people for the business and making sure we have the right talent involved. I got to help hire Sarah, so I got to use my skill set there. And now I'm helping just do our company marketing too. So always been in marketing advertising. And then my husband is an editor for The Bachelor here in LeGrand, cuts it right up on M Avenue.
Isn't that crazy?
Really good internet connection, and he does fly back for big meetings and things like that. But he does all the Bachelor shows, Bachelorette.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because my oldest daughter, she's late 30s, and she's still as addicted to it's a thing.
It's got
to
quite
the Bachelor.
route. I mean, he's been employed with them for now 15 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been his entire career.
Yeah.
He loves the people he works with. He's part of the union, so he loves union benefits. I love the union benefits.
Yeah, so sometime we'll have to have a cup of coffee, and I'm like, okay, what really happened?
Well, and I think he would love to,
the editor knows,
I think he would love to eventually sort of give back in that community and, mentor people, because he went to a Midwestern school for radio and television, and he was like, I thought I was going to work at a radio station or like a news program running a camera op.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's just kind of life. These opportunities came along, and I seized them. And he's got a bunch of jokes about living off of Progresso soup for a while. But he figured it out.
No,
So-
and it's kind of interesting because Sean Halliday, he's probably I don't know if you know.
I've heard him mention, yeah.
Yeah, so Sean he's a video engineer, and he works at the Oscars every year, and he lives here. He's a good friend of ours, and after it was the week after the Oscars. He was on the morning show and talked about his experience and stuff. But the point is it's interesting for people who can work remotely.
Yep.
Have this opportunity to live in a great place,
And have a great community to
have
build
right.
and
that's,
invest in.
And that's one of the reasons, as a commissioner, as a future commissioner, possibly, that I still think the airport, being able to get in and out of here, because it's the one thing that is difficult to do.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
anyhow,
Yep.
but well, hey, so you came on to the board, and now you're the president.
Yes, I reached out because I was trying to figure out. I've always been pretty volunteerism
Right.
pro volunteerism, I guess I'd say. So I kind of was like, what can I get involved in? I wanted to meet people. I'd seen a lot of the events that were being held downtown by Grande Main Street, and so I had just reached out to say, hey, I'd love to be a volunteer. And they needed help on the outreach committee. So I first took on just being a chair for the outreach committee, which is a lot of marketing, promotion, advertising. Membership is involved in that. And so I first started as a chair, and then there was a board seat available. So I got to be part of the board and exercise some of that operational, oversight. And then, this year, board president.
Good. Well, and Marianne had told me, so Marianne had told me, I think Nicole is going to be a good president in the future, because when I left, I had kind of shoehorned into it. Like, hey, I can't go. I'm not going to go unless I know that, and there's somebody to kind of lead the board. Yeah. And she had done every other position except president. Yeah.
Yep.
So good. I'm glad. And so and now Beer Fest. Here we are. Yeah.
Beer Fest.
Yeah.
And last year I was a volunteer because I was still part of just outreach committee. So last year I was just a volunteer of the event, and really I love meeting people in LeGrand. And I was doing like a impromptu exit poll when people were leaving. What was your favorite part about the event? So we could try to capitalize, share with the committee so we could try to capitalize on it. And then this year, Marianne and Sarah are leading the overall committee. And then I'm handling marketing, and Susanna also helped with helping to do some of the beer procurement negotiations, and then she helped me with music.
Yeah.
So I did some of the music stuff, but really that was her, and then marketing. So It's been fun. I love designing. I didn't go into being a designer, but I love to do a little makeshift design on the side. So.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you're a part of the team, and this. So let's just talk about a little bit about so we have, let's put those graphics up real quick. So we got a number of sponsors, that is, and you put
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's our sponsors, good group of people, and you have a lot of them. Yeah. And that tiny little logo that should be a lot bigger. That's ours right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it is hard with one by one logos.
But what happened is, I know we came in a little bit late, and so then it's like, okay, I got to push this in.
Logos are really difficult to lay out.
Yeah.
I was even doing this, earlier this week, and I was, you're like, well, do I go with width or height to make everything, congruent and everyone gets an equal spot?
No, and then
you see a lot of repeats.
Well, and then most of them, they don't all come in PNGs, and then you gotta. Okay, and then the brews. Let's take a look at.
This is going to be the big.
Yeah.
And this is just the brands of the breweries that we have coming, and this includes ciders as well.
Yeah.
But overall, the number of samples that they're going to bring, I counted this morning, and we do have to caveat that could change up until the day of the event, because it's all based on availability and what they have on hand. But I think we have 41 this year.
That's crazy.
Which is going to be amazing.
That is awesome. Yeah.
So if it's your vibe, you're going to have a lot to choose from.
Yeah. And then the bands. So you help we're working on the bands, yeah?
Yes,
okay.
I was working on the bands. And to acknowledge Kyle's point before we get it grilled back, we just wanted to bring a couple of different, Wasteland Kings had been with us for several years, and so we wanted to give an opportunity for some other bands in the area. We knew they were going to be part of the Union County Fair, so we thought, well, we'll maybe ask somebody that's not as well featured. So Gregory Rollins will open with us, and so if anyone's, I know he does a lot of stuff at HQ a lot. He's a little bit more acoustic and like a little bit lower energy, but like a acoustic vibe. And so we thought that would be good for the start of the festival at 3:00. Wicked Mary, I think, might be my favorite out of them because of what they feature. But they have, all of the favorites, and they have the original songs of their own. But they're going to be at 5:00, and then Stacy and Co., which used to be Stacy Collins and band, is at 7:00. And she was our headliner last year as well.
Awesome.
And everyone raved about her. So
Good.
yeah.
Well, and you've been working on the vendors. Is that what you said? Yeah. So why do we need vendors at the Beer Fest, and who are they? Let's go there.
Well, we'll start with our food vendors.
Okay.
We've got Final Cut Pizza, which is going to be great. Heinz Meat Co.
Okay.
And then we also have Fit Fuel, which is coming in, and that is Nicole Haggerty. And she, you can find her at Peak. She makes all natural, gluten-free kind of things. And she's also bringing a little drink that she prepares called the Hangover Cure. Which I think would be very useful when you have these 41 beers. Yeah, so I think...
Are you supposed to drink it beforehand or after?
I think you can drink it after, actually.
Yeah, I believe it's
or maybe
after.
during?
Or during, it just helps you keep that.
I wish
keep
they
that
had that
hydration.
when I used to drink.
Yeah. So definitely stop by her booth. She's got a lot of really great stuff that she's going to be offering. And then we know vendors just kind of add to the experience. You're there, you're having something to drink. Maybe pick up some. We've got a lot of awesome vendors that are coming in. We have Bob Jensen, who does pottery. He's going to be doing a pottery wheel there.
Cool.
We've got a lot of different craft vendors. See, Cindy Hilchey is going to be there, Iron and Lace, and she does a lot of metalwork, things like that. Monkeys on the Run is going to be there with Western Steel. They're going to be coming in together. There's quite a lot of different vendors. Wild and Welded, who I know is a favorite at sort of bachelorette parties and stuff like that, doing permanent jewelry that's welded right onto you so it doesn't come off. And yes, and
It's a new trend.
It's kind of fun.
Jewelry that's welded onto you?
Okay,
like
not
little-
on your skin.
Little dainty bracelets and stuff. They don't have any clasps, so it's seamless, and you never show the clasp on them.
Oh, so it just stays on.
It just stays on.
But it's loose.
It's loose.
Okay.
And I suppose you could cut it off if you really wanted to, but why would you want to?
Yo.
So,
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, just garlic dragon breath is going to be there. That's a garlic and onion dip. It's a family recipe that Kevin actually was able to bring, and he's done a bunch of variations. I think when I went to test it out to assign them as a vendor, I think I bought 4 different versions of it.
So is there going to be like an Altoids booth also? You know, I mean, we've got garlic and onion, beer.
Sorry, only Pepsi products. That's all you have to cleanse your palate.
Yeah, it's like you gotta have like, everybody's going to be the 6 foot distancing because of the breath.
Yeah.
I
I will say Sarah had a really, when she was thinking about how to assemble vendors, we thought of, you thought of demonstration in mind, like something that would be entertaining to also see an artisan make in front of you. So it's not just about the purchasing, it's also, I think sometimes we all are curious, how do they make that? Or like, how's that put together? How do those 2 support beams like work together? So it's going to be something that, as you're sampling your beers and going around, you can also kind of take in something being built in
So
front
it's
of you.
more experiential.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. And you get to talk to the creators. I know Yuri Books is going to be there. That's Doug McKim, and he writes books for young people who are kind of like trying to find themselves. You can actually talk to him about, the books and about your life experience, where people connect. I think that's what's so great about having vendors is it's not just the product, like the actual artist and the actual writer, the person crafting it is there. So you can talk about the process, you can really interact with them. And I think that's so much fun.
Yeah.
So
this is at the Union County Fairgrounds.
Correct.
the night, if you buy a VIP ticket, then I don't know. Tell me about.
I can handle that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of things for VIPs. So you get early entry. You can come to the fairgrounds if you want a more kind of quiet experience where you get to kind of have your first pick at all of the beverages. You can come in at 1 p.m. instead of 2.
Okay.
So you get an hour of early entry. You also get double the amount of tokens. So
Okay.
general admission, you get 4 tokens, and VIP, you're getting 8 tokens.
Okay.
And that's actually increased from last year. Last year we did 6 tokens, but we thought, we could probably, with the days of inflation and shrinkflation, let's give something back to the community.
Yeah.
So you get 8 tokens, and then as your VIP gift, we've partnered with Sockeye Brewing to have, and it's actually one of their bottles that they give to people in their Brewers Club. And apparently it's a very high-end beer, but you're going to be able to pick that up. You just need to bring your ticket, and we'll make sure everyone's ticketed for a VIP. And so we do have limited quantities. So if you want to be VIP, you have to, get on the pre-sales.
Yeah.
But you turn your ticket in, you get an exclusive bottle, and then they're going to be. There is a festival-specific brew that Sockeye also did. There's going to be a VIP exclusive tent with larger pours for VIPs.
Okay. And the
So-
VIP tickets are how much?
VIP is $50, and
Okay.
general admission is $35. And for people that, alcohol is not their thing, it doesn't mix well, $5 just for entry into the festival grounds to see all the vendors, get your food. And then we do have, non-alcoholic Pepsi products available for people. So,
Awesome. And so the VIP begins at what time?
1 p.m.
1 p.m. General admission
2.
is 2. All right.
And then we wrap up at 9.
Okay.
Our last musical act would wrap around 8:30.
Okay.
And I will mention Sockeye is also going to have an after party at Benchwarmers that's going to start right after the festival wraps.
Okay.
So if your fun is still continuing for you, unlike most of the millennials and elder millennials, you can head on down to Benchwarmers, and they will have more of the festival brew there, plus a couple of their other stuff on tap. So.
Yeah. And Loveland Safe Ride will be there.
Yes, that's very important. Loveland is always an extremely helpful partner. We want everyone to be safe. They're going to have the first 2 parking spots at the festival grounds. They're going to be right on the front of the program to remind everyone that, don't take the risk.
Yeah.
Let us help you get home. So, and honestly, it's a very quick, as wide as Union County is.
Yeah.
It's moving, and they get people home quick.
Yeah. And the Safe Ride guys are going to be here. Cody and Jerry will be here on Thursday.
Oh, awesome.
Or Beeve, for what everybody calls Beeve.
Everybody calls him Beeve.
Yeah.
And that's Jerry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Been his nickname since I've known him.
I
Yeah.
work the gate, so I'll just.
Yeah. So
Hey,
so they'll be here on Thursday. Like 2 days from now, and because they're also going to be working the stock show, which is this weekend.
That's awesome.
And then Beer Fest the following week.
It's busy time for them
Yeah,
coming
here.
up.
Yeah.
Hey, they sit out there too. Like if you're at the beer festival, there'll be a cop sitting right here, and then a Loveland Safe Ride sitting right here, and you're like,
Yeah, make good
don't
choices.
be dumb.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
it's not even hard.
And I will say, for anyone that's like apprehensive about what the event, I was a volunteer last year. Everyone is very respectful, and I think it's an event that has moderation. I don't think people overdo it. You don't see people getting, it's not a bacchanal kind of.
Well, and it's kind of funny because it's taken me a little while to kind of warm up to it, just because I grew up in a dry family, totally.
Yep.
I'm not dry myself now, but it was like, do I really want to be a part of a beer fest?
Yep.
But the people that have had too much, over the years that I have been a part of it, there have been very few, and
Yes.
they are escorted out.
Yeah.
They're cut off. It's like,
Yeah.
so it's a very friendly,
Yes.
it's a great environment. Yeah.
And it's out of the things that we do for La Grande Main Street, it's our only adult-only event.
Yeah.
You do need to be, I will say this again, you need to be 21 and older.
Yeah.
I do think some people thought that, if I just purchase a non-drinking ticket, I can come if I'm like, no, everyone inside has to be 21 or over. That's part of our licensing and permitting. But yeah, everyone really respects the consuming in moderation and being respectful. And the music is just an amazing, live music is something that I know people have been trying to foster here in Grand, and it's just awesome to see that with a cold beverage in your hand and got great vendors and food. So it's a really nice environment.
Awesome. So it's at the fairgrounds, but one of the conversations that we constantly had was, how do we get this event downtown?
Yes.
And I mean, is that something you're still working on or thinking about, or what are your thoughts on that?
We have also, I don't think the Beer Fest will ever go away in its entirety, but we have talked about, this is the 10th anniversary of the origin of the Beer Fest. So, and I'll kick it over to you, Sarah, to talk more about opportunities downtown. But we've talked about how do we make this a little bit more broader scoped? How do we make it a more family-friendly event? If we want to make it more about the music and the vendors and the food that's available, can we set up something and could we possibly move it downtown? There's logistical things with, if we were trying to move the Beer Fest downtown, because you're trying to keep it 21 and older, you have just a ton of fencing that has to happen.
Right.
So it's never worked for us to have it as it is downtown because you have those logistical costs that go up. But we've talked about, is there a way to reimagine the event, still have some of the beer tasting, but then make it so that maybe there's a beer garden or maybe there's a section of beer tasting, but then you offer more family-friendly activities, and then we could do something downtown.
Yeah.
So kind of.
Yeah. I went to a conference in Birmingham recently, and I don't know that we'd be able to do what they do there, but one of the things they've done is they've taken their alleyways and they've turned them into like meeting spots where they'll have bands and they'll have tables set up, and it'll just be like almost like a pop-up bar or a pop-up venue. And one of my thoughts is I would love to see if we could do that for Beer Fest. Like, you can't drink outside of this area, you have to dump it out. But each one of our alleys, and we have a whole bunch of alleys, would just be like, hey, this is the sockeye alley and you can go in here, or this is, and I don't exactly know how we do that, but I was so inspired seeing how Birmingham has taken those areas and turned them into something fun and exciting, and you're just walking down the street and there's a band playing just in the middle of the alleyway, and there's chairs set up and you can just come in and join, and people are dancing, and it's awesome.
Salem does that as well. Salem has a bunch of alleys downtown, and they have, I can't remember what the name of the cider is, but this is just an example. They have a roll-up door that faces the alley, and they just roll it up in the summertime, and people put chairs out in the alley, music, I mean, it's very common in Salem too.
I do know that some of those alleyway improvements are part of like a larger Jefferson redevelopment program that's underway by the city and the Urban Renewal Agency. So when you're thinking about like the momentum and what's happening and like the investment that's happening to an infrastructure of a downtown, like LeGrand's on the cusp of a really awesome, civil reconstruction kind of happening.
Yeah, and I think so too. I mean, I've been involved a number of years in downtown stuff, and I've just and just the economic development across the county. I feel like there's some momentum that hasn't been there in the past.
Yep.
And
and it's amazing because, I mean, when you look at what we went through with COVID,
Right.
that had the opportunity to really squash and
Right.
really pull back to
Right.
a halt and possibly even pull
Right.
us backwards.
Right.
And we've been able to not fall victim to that and actually are pushing forward.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new businesses coming in downtown, in a kind of wider diversity of what we have to offer.
Yeah.
And I think that plus some of the improvement projects are going to lend itself to like better outdoor entertaining spaces and stuff. So
yeah, well, and there's a transition that's happening, and it's just hard. It's hard because older folks like myself, that are working towards retirement age. I mean, the power in any city, the power is where the money is. The power is the people that are spending money or investing that in their business or whatever the case might be. Well, that's transitioning. And so, and there is a younger generation, which we desperately need, of folks your age that are investing in businesses and they're investing in community. And it's a different kind of investment. It's a different focus, I mean, for me, through Grande Main Street, I became more appreciative of historical redevelopment and restoration and so on and so forth. But before that, I had no appreciation for it whatsoever, because that restoration, I grew up with old buildings, and like there was we want something new. Well, now that's just changing a little bit. There's a little bit of a turn towards, restoring the old.
Sentimentality.
And so that transition is hard.
Yep.
It just is. It's hard for any community. And so, I think it's super important to a lot of times a community can't, you might not have the money to do something specific, but what you can do is remove the obstacles. Just get out of the way and let development and let things happen,
Yep.
And that's the very first step to that kind of stuff. So, that's awesome. So,
yeah, and I think one of the biggest projects that we've been a part of that you can literally see that like turn back in time, but for a better experience, is the Evermind building. Used to be Maridel Center. So it's both the company Evermind labels and then also the press room. But because the brick had started to deteriorate and got unsafe, they had put a facade up, a stucco kind of, and that was, I think, back in the 70s, late 70s, 80s. And it was of the time, and so it probably modernized the look of it. But removing that, I think everyone appreciates, wow, that's a beautiful building.
Yeah.
Used to be the old Elks Lodge, I think. So it's just a beautiful building. When you realize, you're like, that beauty was underneath just a facade.
Well, and you can, that's a really prime example that you can see. And they've removed the old facade that's facing towards it's Depot Street on Depot Street, and sometime soon they're going to be removing the facade that's facing Washington.
Yep.
Okay.
And they've added a patio.
Right. But what they've also done. But I would say, those things, but the timing of that is really significant. you just have some key people that have invested, the people who own the Evermind.
Williamson. Yep.
Williamson.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Williamson's, Al Adelsberger, Chachas's, all of those people, Williamson's, are investing more money than they will ever get back from that building. Okay. Al Adelsberger, same thing. This building that we're in, the marketplace across the street. Chachas's, who have redone the Texaco station into the local and the house across the street. And then who are the builders that redid, they redid the old buildings downtown, the old bar, where Tap That Brewery. Cornford's, but who's the people, the builders? I'm sorry, and they're escaping my name. Anyhow, the Grande Main Street Downtown, that's kind of where that, and for people but there's been, in the last probably 8 years, there's been over $600,000, $700,000 that has come in from the National Main Street or the state organization, and it's come in to our community through Grande Main Street Downtown. Yeah.
And because of our level of accreditation, which we have to employ a full-time executive director who's doing a fantastic job, we have to fundraise like we do. That's the only way that we have access to these very large grants. They're called the revitalization grants, and they're $200,000 a piece. We've been very lucky. I think we've gotten 4 of them because we've got the Bone Camp building as well. But that is the reason that we've had these huge building blocks of downtown change and kind of come back to life. And we wouldn't be able to even get access to those funds unless we did what we were doing right now with the
Right.
organization.
You know, that
Pennington.
Evermind building is where I had my senior prom.
We've heard a lot of people have weddings,
Yeah.
had
Years
weddings
ago.
there.
That's neat.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Senior
Pennington brothers.
Oh,
are the ones-
CB.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
CB
I mean, they're the ones that, so,
I have a question though. First,
okay.
Yeah.
I know I was looking at the pour list, and there's some dang good beers. Like Bowie Czech Pilsner is one of the best beers on the
That's
planet.
one of the far. They're in the
The
story.
three-way from Fort George is always good, and they have 2 breweries that they teamed up with for 2024, and it's gonna. I don't drink anymore, but I know beer pretty well. My question is, why no Barley Browns?
You know, I know they used to be a partner of ours. I've seen them in all of
Why
the
aren't
pictures.
they? I mean, they're the biggest brewery over here.
I think that they have really built their events calendar, and I think it's
were
just
busy.
a little busy, or maybe they feel it's like too saturated because they're so close, and their tap house is so close that it's like come down to us to. But you know, I've seen that they were a great partner with ours because they brought canopy tents and everything. So
Yeah.
I was
I
was
surprised
just
myself,
wondering, yeah.
but
Yeah,
because
and
they're
talk-
our neighbors.
And that's, talk about a great Eastern Oregon story. That's,
Yeah.
Yep.
they've done amazing things. Well, this is awesome. And again, the point of what I was saying earlier is that money coming in, but also those people that have just invested in the community.
Yeah.
I mean, they've chosen to come here, bring their wealth and their resources here and invest in LeGrand. And then, so that's kind of why I think that there's a little bit of a perfect storm in a good way that advances the community. Because any of those people could have decided to have moved and invested somewhere else.
Yep.
And if you look just at the economics of the community or whatever the case, the statistics, they could have made other choices and maybe had a better return on their dollar. But they moved here and
Yep.
they were here, and so all of that is a perfect. It's a benefit for us in the community. It's a benefit for whatever's going on. And so no.
And the welcome mat of a town is the downtown.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's one of those things that if you build it, they will come.
Right.
I think we've finally hit all of the work that's been happening for the last 20 years to make downtown what it is. We finally hit that return where
Right.
people come through and they're like, oh, I love this. I am literally that story
Yeah.
of like, oh, this is such a beautiful gem of a town.
Right.
I should move here,
Well, when you're in it, like I have been for the last multiple years, it's hard to see how, because you have all of those different entities that are working on different projects, some of them for their own business and some of them for public or whatever the case might be. And it creates a synergy that you can't really see
Yep.
unless you come in from the outside. And it's like, wow, and then you add to that Mira,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you add to that the outdoor attractions that are so close to us. Then and a hidden gem. I've
Yeah.
heard many people use that term, and that might be a really good slogan for us to adopt somewhere along the line.
No
But-
one wants us to talk about it though.
Yeah,
we don't want to publicize that we're the hidden gem.
the hidden gem.
You gotta make it here yourself to figure it out. So
Well, all right. So one more time before we quit. So the date.
June 15th.
Okay.
And VIPs enter at 1, general admission at 2, and it's going all the way to 9 p.m. And then you can shuffle on over to Benchwarmers if you want to keep the night going.
All right. And people can get tickets at eobeerfest.org.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
eobeerfest.org. We're going to have a couple of tickets that we're going to be giving away.
Yes.
And so, and unless my guys want to go, we'll be giving away 4 tickets. So anyhow, yeah. So anyhow, that thank you for being here. Thank you
you for having
for
us.
doing
Yes.
this and investing, and it's always nice to have a fresh perspective and fresh eyes, because we forget. I mean, I've been here 27 years, and you just, over a period of time, things move so slowly, it seems like, but then when somebody comes in downtown, it's like, oh, I like the lights downtown. I like the atmosphere. I like the cobblestone streets. And for me, it's like, yeah, but they're wearing out and they need to be replaced and they're ruddy and da da da. But that overall view is something that if you've been here a while, it's easy to miss. So, yeah.
Everyone should pat themselves on the back.
Yeah.
Those small strides have built to a really nice downtown.
Yeah. Well, and then commercially, I mean, there's a lot happening out there with Jackson and the new hotel, and there by Starbucks, and I mean, all of that stuff is, I tell you what I really would love, okay, and this is something I've thought about many times, is that the entrance into downtown is from the freeway down Island City Avenue, and and there are places where that just it does not look good. And one of the things I've always wanted to do was to promote getting street lights, because if you come in at night, that whole street is not lit.
Yep.
But I mean, we just need something to get people through downtown.
Yep.
So,
That's true.
But hey, we're making strides.
We are.
So, all right. Hey, thanks, ladies, for being with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it. All right, man.
Let's do
Want to
it.
get us out of here?
On this day, June 4th, 1070. I think this might be the earliest one I've ever done.
1070.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of dumb, but it's kind of cool. Roquefort cheese is created in a cave near Roquefort, France. 1070. I mean, who thought of that?
I know.
1792, Captain George Vancouver claims the Puget Sound for Britain. 1896, Henry Ford takes his first Ford through the streets of Detroit.
1896.
1896. 1973, a patent for the ATM is granted to Don Wetzel, Tom Barnes, and George Chastain. So we didn't have ATMs until the 70s, late 70s. That's crazy. Early 70s. Now, to talk about beer, 1974 on this day, the Cleveland Indians made one of the biggest mistakes in history.
Okay.
They gave beers for 10 cents, and it ended in a absolute circus. The game was called off, forfeited by Cleveland because there were so many drunk people. They were throwing their cans, 10-cent beers. I mean, yeah. So that game ended up 5-5, and they just called the game. And they never did it again, obviously.
Wow.
1984, DNA is successfully cloned from an extinct animal for the first time. 2019, professional gambler James, I don't even know how to say his last name, but you'll know who I'm talking about when I tell you that he had a 32-game winning streak on Jeopardy, and it came to an end on this day in 2019. He's the most successful Jeopardy dude ever.
I think he hosts.
He hosted it.
Yeah.
He might still. He won 2.52 million in
Oh,
those
that's crazy.
Jennings?
over
Jennings?
32
I watched Jeopardy.
games. On this day, the number one movie in 1984, Ghostbusters.
Nice.
The quote comes from Napoleon Bonaparte. The strong man is the one who is able to intercept at will the communication between senses and the mind. One more time. The strong man is the one who is able to intercept at will the communication between senses and the mind. That's it.
Good stuff. So,
back on Thursday.
Henry Ford, when he made his vehicle, put it together, and it was too big to get out his door. So he had to chew a hole in the side of the brick in order to get the thing
Better
out.
than having to take the car back.
Yeah, he wasn't. He
I
wasn't
probably
going to
would
do
have
that.
done the same thing.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
There's
hey,
a link in the comments for EO Beer Fest too. So if you want tickets, go there. We'll give a few tickets away. I can't imagine that. Maybe the other guys will go, but if I go, I'll just pay the $5 to get in. I'm not going to waste the ticket on.
So, and Thursday, Jerry from Loveland Safe Ride.
Beeve.
Yeah, and
Cody.
and actually Cody Bowen, the sheriff, will be here with us.
That's going to be a
Yeah,
mess. That's going to be a hot mess.
Well, that show could go anywhere, so don't miss it this Thursday. All right, thanks you guys. We'll see you soon.